Yeah.
So with it,
What's up, y'all? We back another episode, the Fiyah Session. Y'all already
yeah,
know
The
what
ghost named
time it
Benji.
is.
with a ghost. I'm the ghost tonight. So
Ghost named Benji.
we we all black. I don't know, man. It's the technology is an interesting thing. So
What happens when you're old and you're not savvy with these things?
listen, I am a full-fledged cybersecurity CompTIA tech. I'm good.
Geriatric.
This just
Geriatric.
ain't. Hey, hold on. Is this you, Starbucks? Like, hold on. That's a little bit too much sugar for a time right now.
My son bought me a drink while I was at work because he knew I was going to need some energy. So I came home to some Starbucks. Okay, thank you.
Listen, you staring at the blank man tonight, so I ain't got to put up with you.
And am I even staring at you at that point?
Well,
Are you even really there?
I'm here though. I'm here though. I'm here.
Well, we're glad you can make it still with all your blankness. Welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
yup. So we got Benji. We got him, a blank man over there. You know what I'm saying? And we got Trisha
Solid
Michelle.
child.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Benji's always the problem child, but hey, that's
That's
just the way it
tough.
is.
It
Yup.
happens, man. This is life. Okay.
We got
Thank God for the people that love me. You know what I'm saying?
and we got
I'm
we
just
got
saying.
we got Trisha Michelle, of course, you know what I'm saying, joining us as usual.
Love y'all.
Part of our three piece, you know what I'm saying. You already know we hate when somebody's not here, you know what I'm saying. So it's always good to have all three members here, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
for
So
I'm
sure.
gonna get
so
another.
we can yeah, so we can make it
Except you,
happen.
yeah, I'm bringing things to light, but you still can't see me. I just had to throw that bar in there, Ken. I'm just saying.
And are you
Okay.
even really doing that? How do we know?
I mean, I mean, listen, my brother Ernest is
Man,
gonna bring the light tonight. You know what I'm saying on this situation. So we're gonna be straight. We're gonna be all right.
Yeah, so
we gonna need
definitely
we gonna need a little light.
yeah, because Benji over there in the dark for real, for real,
Yeah,
for real.
I mean,
All
dark.
right,
I'm
so
usually crisp. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all miss my face tonight, but we all right. It's gonna be all right. We're here.
all right,
We doing
so
fine. We doing fine.
She always got something to say, right, Ken?
y'all are funny. All right, so we got an OG with us, OG of the Fiyah Session. We got an OG fire friend. We got Ernest Drone. For those of you who have been following the show since this inception during 2020 pandemic, y'all already know who Ernest Drone is. For the people who don't know who he is, you will find out today a part of who this man is because he's a very interesting guy. So to say the least, so you'll see a part of what he brings to the table today, because we're going to be talking about something that's very much in his wheelhouse and that he knows a lot about, which is episode 144. Does your vote matter? And Ernest is one of those people who is into his political bag pretty heavy. And can't say that for most, you know what I'm saying? A lot of us, we know enough to be, intelligent on the subject, but we don't know the ins and outs, and we don't keep up with the day to day of the political, as they say, with the political temperature out there. We ain't checking every day, so you know what I'm saying. But Ernest keeps up with that, so that's why we want to have him on to talk about this subject because it's a very important subject. Um, Contrary to popular belief, voting is very important, right? If you're an adult in America, you have a privilege, right? And Ernest is going to talk about that privilege, but you need to learn that voting is important and why it's important, and when, and also maybe when not to utilize that privilege, because there are times where you may not want to vote, but don't do it because you just didn't feel like getting up and going. You know what I'm saying? Make it strategic in everything you do. So before we dive into the topic, we got to check on our people. So we always start with the lady of the house, Trisha Michelle. How's your week started off?
It's going good actually. I can't complain. And I almost, like I said earlier, I almost was absent because I came home. My daughter overcleaned the stove and had it ticking and doing something else, and it was making this loud noise. And I was like, "You about to light us all on fire?" So I had to call an emergency thing going on. We got it together in time, so I'm here. But the week itself, I mean, it's Taco Tuesday, ain't tacos today, but it's always been it's good. I have no complaints, and I hope and pray that my week continue to be blessed. God, please. That's all I can say.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. That's a
Amen.
lift your hands moment right there. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
yes.
All right. So Benji Banks, the man, the brand. Talk to the people, man. How's your week started off so far?
Man, it's
Like,
been pretty dope, man. Uh, this week is extra special because Trisha, you know, I ain't fooling with you tonight. Uh, this week is extra special because my lady's birthday is today. So
oh yeah,
your
happy
boy was just, you know,
birthday! This year.
well, she out having dinner with the girls right now because I had to do the show. So you know what I'm saying. So I was like, well, yes, but hit up Glen Ivy Hot Springs today. Got to that joint super early. You know what I'm saying? Patricia, you know what's up with the Glen Ivy Hot Spring. You know what I'm saying? Got the little mud bath, the hydro massage, the grotto. You know what I'm saying? Did chilling in the biggest jacuzzis you can find and all of that type of stuff. Mineral baths, saunas, all of
The
that.
weather was good today. Yes.
Perfect today in the 80s. It was 80 today, so it was perfect. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? We're in Cali where it's getting, you know what I'm saying, cold around 4-ish. So, you know, brother had to dip out. But
Yeah.
my son's birthday is actually this weekend. So this week is gonna be super dope. You know what I'm saying? Get everything out the way. And then got a few things on the docket. So hopefully it come through, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, it's been dope, man. I can't complain. So casino Saturday though. So that's what I'm hoping for, to pull up on the casino and lose or win some money. So we'll see.
Man, you can't go into it already seeing lose.
Yeah.
Right.
Man,
Like,
listen, man. I can't even lie to y'all. I'm terrible when it comes to betting. I don't think I've ever won a bet in my life that I can remember. Listen,
Wow.
I just go for the fun, dog. Like it's like I don't even go in there expecting to win. Like I just go in there just to have a good time. You know what I'm saying? Plus, my lady's never really been to a casino like that. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Go in there and just have some fun. If you bring some good luck and you win us 10,000, 20,000, 40,000, or even 100,000, praise is me. You know what I'm saying? Praise is me. You know what I'm saying? So if it happened, it happened. You know what I'm saying? But I always go, I promise you, bro, I go in. I can have the best fantasy team in fantasy football. And I'll lose in the first round, bro. Like betting ain't my thing. I ain't lying to you, dog.
and people, this is coming from a 49ers fan, so
Wow.
I don't have a good feeling about their playoff this year with him being a fan, because last year, you know what I'm saying, he was still in the closet a little bit and he came out the closet as a 49ers fan, and we respect that because we already knew he was, but he finally admitted it. And because Benji is from Dallas, South Dallas to be exact. So for him to be a 49ers fan came as a shock to a lot of people. But if you grew up with him like I did, you understood because he's actually like the 49ers since we were kids.
It was young.
Yeah.
You know what
so
I'm saying?
I mean,
and then Brock Purdy get hurt against the freaking Eagles. Patricia.
Hey, wait. Karma. Don't you remember when he wished pain and hurt on Jalen Hurts?
No. I did that.
He did.
He
did.
I did that this year. I did that this year. Last year.
Yep. No, that was
definitely
this season.
Yeah, it was this season, not last season.
Yeah, but that's interesting. That is very
his time.
Yeah,
it's very interesting.
But it's all right though. You know what I'm saying? You know, I ain't betting on the 49ers this year, so you know what I'm saying. I ain't gonna be bringing none of.
Why you not betting on your squad, dog? Why you not betting on your squad?
Because I'm telling you, bro. it's a bro. Listen to me. It's a real thing. I don't win when it comes to betting. It's
Oh,
like the
so you
Lord.
bet they gonna lose.
It's like the favor of the Lord. It's like we ain't with you in that department. So we ain't even rolling, bro. I promise, Ken. This is the same dude who sold you Brett Favre rookie card when we was kids. Like I just don't win. I just
Hold
don't,
on,
bro.
hold on. Let me clear this up. Let me clear this up before we go any further.
What
For
did
the
you give
people who
him?
don't know, okay, of course,
Yeah.
people who watch the show all the time know that me and Benji actually grew up together. Like we actually grew
Right.
up like a block away from each other. So
Right.
we spent every day with each other after school, playing in the street. When we was kids, we had trading cards. So Benji had a bunch of trading cards. I had a bunch of trading cards. So we would trade cards all the time. So when you're a kid, you don't understand the value. You don't, we didn't know who Brett Favre would be, right? When we were kids, Brett Favre was a rookie. So
Yeah.
there was a Brett Favre rookie card of him in all black. And we was kids, we like, you played sports, you like to get fresh when you played sports, and all black was one of them uniforms. You're like, oh man, that's clean right there. So I had I had an Eric Dickerson card, and Eric Dickerson was that dude, but he had the all white for the Colts on. So
Right.
Benji saw that card, and Benji was like, I like that Eric Dickerson. I was like, man, I don't know. Eric Dickerson had the goggles on and the horse collar on, and he running, he got the all white on. I was like, you know what? I do got another Eric Dickerson card. I'm willing to part with it. And he was like, all right, so which card you want? Me being, young and dumb at the time, I'm choosing the card not based on the person, but based on the
The
aesthetics.
swag.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, this dude got on all black. Man, his name Brett Freight. Was his Brett Favory?
Favorite. At the
Brett
time, we had
Favory?
no idea what
Like,
his name
we
was.
don't even know who this dude is. Like, he a rookie. He like, he going to Green Bay. And my cousin played for Green Bay at the time. So I'm like, all right, bet. Let's do this card. I mean, I can't, it can't hurt to have this card. So years later, Benji's on the show telling this story about a time he got swindled out of this card, not knowing that it was me who made the trade with him as kids. Now, this is just totally organic. We're just on the episode talking, and this
Right.
comes up. And then I had to let him know, hey, that was actually me who
And you
had that
still got the
card.
card too.
And bro, I still have that card to this day. I kept that card because of the aesthetics. And lo and behold, now Brett Favre is wearing a Hall of Fame jacket. So
So
I mean,
last I checked, it's worth some decent money
yeah,
for
it's
a
worth a
card
little,
that you got in a pack for like $1. So
yeah, it's worth a little change. So
One of the best
Benji
knows
might be onto something. He might be onto something. Yeah, he might not need to bet.
hey, all I do now is I go for signed collector's items and the frame them, and that's it. I ain't touch. Nah, that's it. That's it.
That's a fact. All right. So the guest here today, fire friend, Mr. Ernest Drone, man. How's your week started off so far?
And man, my week's going great, man. It's gonna get even better. My birthday is tomorrow.
Oh wow.
I
What?
got a few events coming up this weekend, starting on Thursday. So it's going tomorrow till Sunday. It's on every day.
Oh,
I feel like I'm out of sorts, man. I love being born in March, but it's crazy because we've talked about the past couple of weeks. It's been Trisha Michelle's birthday, then it was Benji's birthday, then Benji's lady's birthday, now your birthday.
Dolly's birthday.
Yeah, Uncle Dolly's birthday. I'm like, dang, everybody's birthdays in this fourth quarter of the year.
Man,
the best birthdays.
the best birthdays is in
that
October.
Absolutely.
that is definitely debatable, but y'all are dope people. So you know what I'm saying. I'll let y'all rock with that because I love y'all, man. So Ernest, we know you're gonna do it big. We know you're gonna have a bunch of fun. So shout out to you and everybody that's celebrating their birthdays. Man, it's such a blessing to see another year. Especially in the climate that we live in now. So many things are happening. So man, live it up and do your thing, man. I know you're gonna have an amazing weekend, man.
Yeah.
All right. So my weekend has started off slow, y'all. Last week I didn't talk about it, but last week, man, I had we had some COVID in my house. Everybody was getting COVID. So this week is the recovery week of, after COVID has passed, everybody's, kind of getting back. So on last week's episode, I definitely wasn't feeling the best, you know what I'm saying? But we made it through, and I can look back on it, and multiple times I've had COVID, and each time we've had a show during the time, and I've done the show with COVID. So, you know what I'm saying? Consistency is key. We got to keep moving. And
Keep moving.
we got to keep this thing going. So, you know what I'm saying? Understand, people, we do make sacrifices to bring y'all this show live so we can get your feedback and so we can involve you in the conversation. So we appreciate when you all tune in and are active in the comments, because we definitely do it for you. That's what it's all about. All right. So before we even get deep in the topic, my first question is, do you even vote? Because I've had conversations with people in the past couple of years that tell me they're 40-something years old and they have never voted.
Wow.
Never voted. So I know the panel has voted. I know Ernest votes. I know Benji votes.
Absolutely.
I know Trisha Michelle votes.
For things so they can send stuff to the right location.
Okay. Yep, that's important to make sure your stuff is up to date and on point so they can get you the right information. But my first question to Ernest is, why do you vote? Like, what even motivates you to vote?
I want my interests represented, so if I can't make things happen, there's a system in place to make things happen for me, and I'm gonna vote for the person who I believe is gonna go and get something done. If I want a speed bump, I want somebody in office to say, hey, there's a get Ernest a speed bump in front of his house. He got kids. So that's why. So if I think you're gonna represent me, I'm gonna vote for you. That's it.
So you actually believe in the system?
I believe no. See, let me I don't necessarily. I believe in the system can work. I believe we getting the wool pulled over our eyes about the system, but I also believe if you put the right people within any system, it can work for you.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm a firm believer in candidates.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
And this is on you're speaking on a local level, national level, all of that, correct?
Yes, on every level, I believe in the candidates. If I don't believe in candidate, nobody's getting the vote.
Right.
Okay. So Benji, what about you, man? What motivates you to vote?
Coming from this, I guess more every time I think of voting, when I go, the thing that motivates me is looking at it from where I grew up and from where I am now. So growing up, hood, drugs, all of that type of stuff, you've seen how the laws were passed that affected our folks, in the 80s, early 90s, crime bills, all of this type of stuff, right? All this stuff is put into place, and then you make it out of the hood, or one of you make it out, and then you come over to this side and you realize how much different things can be if we actually were out there voting. I'd like to understand that you could have changed things if you were privy to it or understood it. The whole political thing. Man, so many laws are out there that we don't know about because we're just not interested. We just ain't. But I kind of took a liking to it to a degree, not overly over it, but seeing how now that I'm on this side voting, how some stuff has changed in my favor. And I kind of agree with Ernest when he said that if the right people are in place, things can be different, especially in liberal California. So
yeah, so definitely out there, y'all have a different, political climate when it comes to a lot of different things than us folks here in Texas.
right.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting. So Trisha Michelle, how about you? What motivates you to vote?
I'll say that because when you're younger, of course, when you're unable to vote, you don't pay attention. You don't know what's going on. You just run around living life. The older you get, and the more the more life matters, and the more that the things that are going on in life, the laws passed affect you, then you learn that the younger age group doesn't vote. Then on top of that, a very small percentage of Black people don't vote. Like we are underrepresented in a huge way in the voting world. So it's like that motivates me to speak more, to be more involved, to want to make sure I try to figure out what's going on so I can make sure I'm making the right vote. And then at the same time, like Ernest said, the right people in place, then they can what you believe in and what you were fighting for, they can, advocate for you too, hopefully on those things too. So it's just important. Sitting back not voting not gonna get us nowhere.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I agree with all the feedback so far. So for me, it's a mixture of everything everybody said, but I think about something that me and Ernest talked about before the show, a lot that motivates a lot of people, that motivated me originally to make sure that, and it stays in the back of my mind every time it's time to vote, is my grandmother, right? My grandmother, not just the fact that she was, she grew up in a time where they were fighting for us to get the right to vote, but she was also one of the people who every time it was time to vote, she would make it her duty to take time away from her profession, which is, she owned a beauty shop at the time, and she would go and work the polls, right? She would go and, make sure everybody was voting. She would go out and go door to door to make sure that people were voting. Like, she was very adamant about it. And as we grew up and I was around her a lot, she always was making sure, baby, when you get older, you make sure you vote. She always drilled that in us. So for me, when it comes that time, even sometimes I ain't gonna lie to you, sometimes I be like, man, I don't feel like getting up, going up here, and standing in this line or whatever the case may be. Then I hear her voice in my head and I'm like, you know what? Let me go ahead and, what I'm saying, and go up here and vote. But as Ernest mentioned too, it's about the candidates, it's about the right candidates. So it's very important that you understand that it's not a it's I equate voting to kind of like, if people familiar with the SAT test, if you don't know the answer for that question, you don't have to fill in a bubble. You don't have to bubble anything in. You can just leave it. You can just leave it blank. You get less of a ding if you leave it blank than if you answer it wrong.
Whatever. Yeah.
So yeah, so a lot of people don't know that when you take the SAT. So when people say, "Hey Ken, what SAT score you get?" and I tell them, they be like, "How'd you get it?" Because I knew the strategies. So it's a strategy behind everything, and it's a strategy to voting. So strategy number one is you better know the candidates. You know what I'm saying? Because going in there and voting because you think you're gonna be able to look at the names and vote, you know what? That's kind of what they depend on, right? And I had to explain this to my daughter. My daughter asked me, why do it do around voting time, is it important for them to plaster their name everywhere? That's why it's important for them to plaster their name everywhere, because when you go to the poll, if you're stuck on one of those candidates, you're gonna go with the one name you've seen the most, and you're not even aware that you're doing it a lot of times.
Right.
So if you've seen, Terry Johnson for mayor or whatever, and you keep seeing that name, when you get there and you're looking at that ballot and you don't recognize any of the other names, but you're like, oh, I seen this one before, you'll vote for it. You'll vote for that person. So I mean, it's tactics and it's strategic, moves for everything when it comes to voting. So it's just a lot of moving parts and those things that we want to talk through today. But I thought it would be an an interesting dynamic to dive into more of the details of voting and why people do it,
Right.
and what I'm saying, your insights on the voting process, because at the end of the day, I've heard too many times that people don't vote, and those are interesting conversations to have with them and the people around you about why they don't vote. And maybe we can change a few ideas today, or maybe we can present something that never been presented to people before. But that's the hope. So
Ernest, let me ask you, what is the number one thing when you're in your phase, this voting phase? What is the number one reason you think people don't vote or care to vote?
I honestly think that people don't vote because, for example, we just go with Obama, right? Obama, for black folks in particular, Obama had one of the largest turnouts for black folks of all time, right? The largest
Right.
percent of black folks voted. You know, we might have just been attracted to his blackness, but he ran. I'm 43 years old and I've watched every single presidential campaign, every single Democratic National Convention and Republican Convention speech since 1988. So that's one of the best speeches I ever heard. Two of them was by this man. So he
Right.
said what we was attracted to. The reason why folks don't vote, in my opinion, is because candidates aren't going to them and saying, come vote for me. And you got to motivate a voter base. And so
Right.
what happens on our side is they just talk at us. And what happens on the other side is they talk to those folks, and those folks are geared up and ready to go. Because they know when you get in office, you are most likely to go run through a brick wall for them, because they know if on the Republican side, if you don't do what your voters do, what the voters want you to do, where you're not there anymore, they're not voting for you. They will primary you. They will put you on lists. They will call you out. They will protest in front of your office for not doing what they told you, for not doing what they voted you in to do. So to answer your question, the number one reason why folks don't vote, in my opinion, is because we have weak candidates, and weak candidates don't go to the right people.
And you mentioned something there that said they kind of talk at you.
Right.
What is that in the political space? Like, what would you calculate that to? Like, they're talking at us. Kind of put that in layman's terms for.
Oh, I got one great for you. You go on the Breakfast Club with some hot sauce. Then you go on the Breakfast Club and say, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black, without laying out your platform and telling me exactly and truthfully how it's going to affect my community. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Don't forget, black folks aren't a monolith, so I don't even eat hot sauce. You made me mad with that. You know what I'm saying? So don't pull out your
Right.
Dominoes and your hot sauce and go to the barbershop in front of me, because I want to know about some taxes. I want to know about some education. I want to know about some criminal justice reform, and I want to know how that affects my community and my kids. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of kids, so I got to know.
I got a lot of kids.
I got a lot of kids, man. So
Hey,
my job.
but I understand though, because in that space, and maybe you agree, in that space, you are looking out for those, even though you're looking out for yourself as well, but you are looking out for the others that are around you, right? That's kind of what voting is, because it's laws changing.
Yes, very much so. I think
Yeah.
voter is one phase a individual thing, but it's also from our standpoint, being a black man in America, I have an obligation to my community, but I have an obligation to my community to not just vote for voting's sake too. I can let my community down just by doing that. We put the wrong folks in office all the time. We just did it in Dallas for mayor, and I was been saying this brother ain't right. So
Yeah, like Ernest mentioned, the person that he mentioned, it was said that she was pandering for the black vote by doing those things, and a lot of people were outraged by that. So, yeah, that didn't go over well, and that just maybe why she didn't get a lot of people's vote, and it didn't go the way she thought it was. But yeah, what you all are saying too, as far as the vote benefiting others around us. I always think about, one of our civic duties when you go to, when you got jury duty, and you go to that court and you're there, you're like, man, please don't pick me. Please don't pick me. I mean, I used to be part of that crowd, that please don't pick me crowd. And I actually got chosen from the main jury room to go to the courtroom and actually hear the case. And then, they select the jurors from there. Right. So it was good that I went through that process. So I saw how it worked. Right. So what I did notice is, and I didn't think about until that day, and I was in my late 20s when that happened, was the fact that it's important, and how important the local elections are, because that judge that's sitting there, over those local cases, and especially if you're a parent, your child does something that has to go to court, those judges that you're voting for are that same judge, or the judges that you're going to have to go before, your child may have to go before and it might, hold, valuable parts of their life in the balance. So if you're not voting for the right people and you're not voting intelligently and strategically, that could cost you or your child valuable pieces of your life. It could put your child in a position where they can't succeed, for a bit, for vocal time or later on in life, because they have something on a record that didn't have to be, because this judge was in place. Because that case was a young black man
Right.
that I had to hear the case for, and the judge was kind of just sitting there like, yeah, okay, I'll go on with it. And they were asking all these questions, and I feel bad for the young man, because for me, I have sons, right? And at that point, my sons were young, so I was like, I wouldn't want my sons to grow up to have to be in this courtroom because he was in a car with 2 or 3 of his friends. Somebody had drugs. They didn't claim him. It's his car. You know how that goes. If nobody claims them, it's in your car, it's your drugs. So that was the case. In that case, I did not get selected. As soon as I stood up at that time, yes, Ken had hair. I had hair on my head. I had braids, and as they say at that point in time, I probably fit the description. So they were like,
said,
nope.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they were like, nope, we ain't picking him because we know how
you
he
ain't
goes.
you ain't finna give this young lad some time off. Yeah, this is nah.
Well,
get him out of here.
I just wanted to hear the rest of, the evidence and things of that nature. But of course, when you stand up, they ask you a question, you answer that question, and then they say, okay, well, you're so and so and so and so, you're dismissed. So I heard my number and I heard dismissed. So I left the courtroom. I was happy to leave because, what I'm saying, I wanted to go about my life, but it affected me after that because I left there thinking about the fact that instead of, wanting to get out of a situation like that, maybe I need to be involved in more things like that because I can help somebody out by being on that jury that maybe, open the eyes of somebody else on that jury to see things differently. Right. Because, nobody, and now I ain't gonna lie to you, if it's a jury for a mobster, nah, I don't want to be on that one.
Like I'm good.
I kind of don't want to be on that one. But anything other than that, man, I definitely would grasp doing my civic duty. Yeah.
Kent, just think about it. Just think about it. As a citizen of the United States, you did your civic duty. You wasn't a felon, so you were able to sit on a jury. You went in, and because of the way you looked, you pretty much was dismissed immediately.
Yeah.
Right. Imagine what the law does for you after that.
Think about the system that we live in. And my thing is, since we're talking about voting, if it's not a radical person, either on both sides, I'm not voting for them. If I don't see anything radical on your platform, I'm not voting for them. To be honest with y'all, we can say it now. We messed up not voting in Bernie Sanders. We messed up. But go ahead.
Oh yeah. Well, a lot of folks would agree with that because of how he, was looking out plan wise. He had an actual strategy.
Yes.
He had a legit strategy, which most people are like, nah. It was a little bit too,
too much change for him.
Yeah, too much change. Yeah, that's the right word. So yeah.
Black folks, we need a lot of change real fast. Our kids ain't got time to wait.
I like that.
Yeah. And I think that changes, like you said, that's what makes people uncomfortable at all times. We talk about that all the time. Change makes people uncomfortable, whether it's good for them or not. But because things have been done a certain way for a certain amount of time, they'll just go along to get along because it doesn't make anything different for them. They know they can still continue to live the life they've been living, so they think, without it causing any trouble. So,
Ernest, what do you think instant gratification comes in this? Because some people look at laws and voting and say, not fast enough for me, not this, not that. What do you think the idea, the concept of instant gratification comes in at all, and when it comes to voting?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it gotta be the topic. It got to be the topic. For example, let's just go back here. We got healthcare reform, right? If we go back, everybody like to say, Democrats like to say Obama did not have a supermajority. Well, to pass healthcare reform, it took a supermajority vote, and no Republicans voted against it. So you had 61 members vote. You had the majority of members to vote to pass healthcare reform. It took it to be a supermajority, got to be a filibuster-proof vote, right? So if you got that without any Republicans, you had a supermajority, no matter what everybody says. So with the supermajority, you passed one bill. You passed one bill, and it wasn't even the one we wanted. It wasn't the version of healthcare that we wanted, but you could have given us the one we wanted. You could have given us immigration reform. You could have gave us a real criminal justice reform bill. You could have. I don't even smoke weed, but I think you should have did something with the weed laws, but you didn't on a federal level. So instant gratification is, to me, is something that's going to take time and something you can do instantly. When we put certain people in office, there's certain things that can be done like that, and they lie and say that it can't, or as an excuse. They pushed everything that we wanted down the road, hoping that our motivation would push them into another election cycle, and it didn't work. So I want mine instantly. The things you can, the things I know gonna take time, you got to explain that to me. You got to come to me and tell me, Ernest, this is gonna take time. If not, I'm on top of your helmet. I'm picking in front of your office, and I'm not voting for you anymore.
I like that. I dig that.
Yeah, and that's but see that's the thing is, Ernest is willing to put in the work. Some of these people are willing to put in the work that it takes to hold these people accountable, where most people just feel like when they vote, they've done their duty and I'm done until the next cycle here. You know what I'm saying? Till the next cycle arrives, and then it's time for me to vote again. But they don't understand that you have to hold these people accountable in between those times. And because if not, again, you're just going to keep voting for the same folks over and over again and going to keep getting the same results because you feel like your vote is your job. You don't feel like you need to hold these people accountable. So,
how often would you say, or how long should you vet your potential candidate? Like the person that how long would you do it? Or since you're kind of heavy into it, how long should you vet your potential candidate, and how well should you know them from a political standpoint?
To be honest, for example, with Barack Obama, I knew he was going to be president 2 years before he did he spoke at the Democratic National Committee. I knew he was going to be president. I thought that he was eligible for presidency and public office, national office, when he was running against Bobby Rush. I was just going through, I think it was C-SPAN at the time, and I heard this young brother speaking. They was going about little races. They was looking at different races around the country, and I heard this brother speaking, and I told my girlfriend at the time, we got us one. And we watched him for years, got his books, we watched him for years, and I told everybody when he did the speech that he would run. He just got me instantly with the community organized and the way that they was talking. He lost that race that I was watching, but the way he was talking, I was just interested in him. So I believe that you vet a candidate as much as they're in your face, as much as the race comes up in your head. Go look it up. Go check. I've been checking my facts on what's going on in Israel and the history of Israel and the Palestinians recently for almost every day. I'm spent out in my leisure. That's what I'm looking at. And let me go back and look at 1948. Let me go back and look at the cash lead. Let me go back and look at all the other atrocities before this, just to see if the Palestinians have a right. And let me go back and look at what Biden said before I give him my vote. You know what I'm saying? And I went back and looked, and certain things disturbed me. So I just vet the issue, and I vet exactly where you stand on it. Right. So much as you can, just always, but challenge what they say. I mean, let me see what you said on my issues. Let me see what you said versus what your opponent said. So,
okay,
right? Because they got to talk about it. Right? Go ahead, Trish.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I was just saying they definitely got to put that work in, do the research, vet the person. I mean, a lot of people, like you said, they'll go off the trend or the parents. A lot of people did vote for Obama just because he was Black, but there's a lot of stuff that you could have learned about them along the way. And I think a lot of people don't do that either, or they vote somebody in and then they just leave it alone and go carry on. And it's like,
That's correct.
is this follow up and pay attention? No one pays attention. I won't say no one, but a lot of people won't pay attention to what's going on after that. And then that person didn't come through on a lot of the promises they made in that election. And that's what we got going on now.
Yeah. So before we proceed, just want to stop for a second and pop up some of these comments from the audience. We always appreciate the audience tuning in and putting in their comments and their outlooks. We got Jamal Bolden, is a young man who serves our country. See if we can get this to pop up. All right. So he says voting in many aspects is a popularity contest. I'm assuming that is about popularity instead of substance, and that's true. Sadly, the majority of people, when they go and vote, they're voting off of, again, like I stated earlier, what name have they heard the most? Who's the sexy vote? Like, who is everybody talking about? Who played the hip hop on their panel? Things of that nature. They know what it takes to pander to certain people. So
Yes.
they do that. And true, it is a popularity contest
Who
similar to
who is Jay-Z and Beyonce endorsing, stuff like that.
yeah, see
Right.
that
Right.
exactly. So it's kind of
Because
like
those people have a following. So if I
yeah,
can sway your opinion based off of, hey, I'm endorsing so and so, and we know there's possibly some ends or some marketing or whatever involved. But yeah, I mean, it's total political strategy.
yep.
Absolutely.
So
It's a marketing strategy. We've been marketed to. So yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
yes,
yes.
exactly.
You can't be mad on their behalf. They're just doing their part at
No.
candidacy, marketing.
Right.
But on the same side, you got to see past the smoke. Like,
Right.
you got to be able to see through it all.
yep.
I think
So
they play on our ignorance, y'all.
they do.
Mark my word. Mark my word on this. We haven't had a police versus. We've had several, but we haven't had any on a national stage that's blown up. After the first of the year, some case, some black issue versus
So
us versus the police is going to be expanded. Black Lives Matter. Excuse me.
But it has been a minute. You're right.
You're right.
We haven't had. Yeah.
And it shocked me because I was a big Black Lives Matter guy. I'm still, supportive of the organization locally, but nationally, I noticed early that it only popped up after during election time. Stuff happened in between then. It came about in the middle of Obama's term, went through the election, and then it challenged certain candidates, challenged Bernie Sanders, but didn't challenge Hillary. And then we got quiet. And then all of a sudden the election come, here we come again. So national wise, they was only popping up certain times. So to watch it, they won't pop up again, but it'll be some national case that Kamala get on or something like that.
Okay.
And I agree with that because, in the political space, you get what I'm saying? Everything is kind of in cahoots if you're trying to get the vote. So, and if you're trying to get black folks vote, you get what I'm saying? They've been hitting us with the same bait since forever. So, I mean, and the sad part though is that our younger kids, we grew up in a generation, I'll just be honest with you. I had no idea about voting until I got to California at 19, 20 years old, and my uncle kind of gave me, the scoop on it. A lot of us are just ignorant to the tactics or the ideas until we follow it for a while. So I could totally see that happening where some kind of crazy thing will happen and they'll need our black vote. So
yeah, and
it's
we also have another. Go ahead, Trish Michelle.
I said they're just marketing too. In that way, they're using Black Lives Matter to market.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we ain't gonna even dive deep into that, but the Black Lives Matter thing, and it's been a lot of information that has been unfolded about that organization as a whole.
Right.
And I want to make sure that we let people know that the movement and the organization are two different things, right? There's an organization and there's a movement. So the thing that you've heard about the organization, that's the organization, but it doesn't change the concept of what people have grasped as the
Right.
movement for Black Lives Matter. So those are two different things. So before you proceed to draw judgment on when people say Black Lives Matter, please do your due diligence and your research to figure out what that exactly means. And, you know, maybe one day we'll have a little bit more information where we can take a deeper dive into that topic and explain that for you all, because I've had many conversations with people, especially not at work, but outside of work,
He's like,
about
yeah, nah, I ain't
about
having this conversation at work, right?
about the difference between the two and what that actually means, because you know a lot of people got it confused when it first came out, and rightfully so. I think it's, to me, now a lot of people are probably going to miss this whole point, but when it comes to Black Lives Matter, it falls along the sentiment behind it falls along the same lines of HBCUs, where people question the validity of it and why it exists.
Right.
But trust me, there's a reason why that has to be said, and there's a reason why HBCUs exist. And I don't mind having that conversation with people. And so if you see me out in public and you want to have a conversation about it, I'm very open and honest, and I will chat you up about that. So no problem.
Yeah.
All right. So we got another comment here that's very interesting. Sean Coleman. And this is something that we're definitely going to talk about, but we might as well address it now. Deshaun Coleman said, I just don't vote it all together because of false promise after false promise. He also said, I don't want to subscribe to the same games they play. It's just the game that play, and is what is politics. So
he's a smart, hurt voter. He's got PTSD.
Well, it's a lot of people out there like that who just don't vote for that simple reason. So Ernest, what do you have to say about people who just don't vote? What can you say that can maybe motivate them to vote, or give them a little bit of insight on strategically not just voting, not just not voting for the sake of not voting, but how can they leverage that, strategically?
And that should be the only way they should vote strategically. I think, for example, let's say I live in Forney, guys. I don't mind telling you that. Forney is a certain type of area. We're a little bit new out here. As much as we are, so we're taking over out here. So I voted in the school election. So I voted for certain things. I voted for certain candidates. I don't like how the school is. I don't like how they treat my black kids, or black kids that I see in the neighborhood. So I voted for somebody who said something, even though I don't think she didn't win. I voted for somebody who is representative of my community and said exactly what I needed them to say. The other elections around here, they didn't look like me. They didn't speak like I wanted to speak, and they didn't say anything that I wanted. So I did not vote for those people. So so I tell anybody who's out of politics, wait till somebody say something, or wait till you have a need. And if a candidate talking about that need, then fine. I voted for a Republican in the last a few elections ago in the state office. Everybody don't like him. I voted for him just because he given elders a tax break, and I think black elders need that.
Right.
Okay.
And you gotta be up on game with a lot of the stuff, just so you know how to vote. So we said it earlier about vetting your candidates. Like, follow them, like, know who they are, listen to how they speak. I think a lot of people, time wise, they don't want to invest the time in it. They've kind of tuned it out at its root. And to be honest, there's a lot of things that you could change in your local area, or even on a national level, just by you voting. You get what I'm saying? So I know we know it's real, it's there. We just got to get involved in it a little bit more than we have been over time.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got some
what advice
more.
would you give him? What
Go
advice
ahead,
would you give
Tristan.
someone like that, so he doesn't feel, getting let down and discouraged? How do you, as a voter, because a lot of people, will promise under deliver. So how would you mentally tell someone like him to, to stay in it each year, or every time there's an election on things that's going on, even locally?
You talking to me? You want me to
Yeah.
answer? Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So I would tell somebody who is discouraged like this brother is that that basically the same thing. I don't want you to vote in every election. I just want you to look for somebody to vote for. I want you to see if anybody out there talking the talk that you need them to talk, and go vote for them if they earn your vote. If they're saying the right things for you, at least do that, because you did have ancestors who gave you the who did sacrifice for that right. And I think you owe it to your ancestors. If somebody says something that you think is going to make your community better, then you owe it to get up and go vote. But you also owe it to hold that person accountable and not vote for them again, or send them a letter, or picket their office and things of that nature. But I think that I think withholding your vote is also a powerful tool. So don't get me wrong on that. I don't think you should vote for everybody, but I think withholding your vote
Right.
is a powerful tool. So if somebody getting discouraged, just understand these are humans we're dealing with. It is a game. You put them in office by either not voting, or you put them in office by voting.
Facts.
Yeah.
So remember that you put them in office by not voting. You contribute to them winning by not voting, and you contribute to them. You contribute to them losing by not voting. Either way, you contribute to the race, right? Even
Yep.
if you don't
Yeah.
vote. So, but you got to be okay with that. I am completely okay with not voting or throwing for the presidential election, voting for somebody third party. Completely fine with it.
Right.
I'm okay with the outcome.
I've been at that space where I voted for a third party because neither candidate said what I needed them to say. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, and sometimes you watch the elections and it could be a whole a doo-doo show. You get what I'm saying? I want to say another word, but I'm trying to stay safe, y'all. But but you end up voting, but some people would say if you voted for a third party with the two obvious candidates, you've kind of given your vote away as well. What do you say to that?
That is bullpucky. That is doo-doo. that is doo-doo. So and that
Boy
is
said, hold on. We're not gonna let you slide with Bill Pucky. Come on, dog.
hey man, I grew up part of my life in Bryan College Station, Texas, home of the fighting Texas and American country.
And the new word we learned today, scat. Boy, that's scat.
Oh wow.
But proceed.
But anyway,
It's getting wild out here with these.
Proceed.
Hey, but no, they gaslight you. They gaslight you, and they are a tool of white supremacy. So they don't know it. They don't know it, but you're not finna get. I'm gonna read y'all a quote real quick. And I brung up two quotes, and this one just hit. I'm gonna just tell me who y'all think said this. We won't organize any black man to be a Democrat or Republican because both of them have sold us out. Both of them have sold us out. Both parties have sold us out. Both parties are racist, and the Democratic Party is more racist than the Republican Party. Who do you think said that?
I don't know. Is this somebody recent or somebody back in the day?
Back in the day.
Malcolm X?
Absolutely. Ding, 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 ding.
Hey.
Malcolm X told us this. You know what I'm saying? So you cannot convince me to vote for somebody that I do not believe in, but I'm engaged in the process. So you mean I paid attention and I said this voting power is mine. It is mine individually, even though I can use it collectively and help collectively. So I'm exercising my power by telling those two in the top that you guys got to do better to come get me. So you can't tell me that, but because I didn't do what you wanted me to do with my vote, that I sold all of us out. That's your individual decision. You can't gaslight me into following somebody I don't like. The agents of white supremacy, and anybody that talk like that is ignorant, and you got to watch them. I think they might be Tyrone Biggums or somebody. They might be Clarence Thomas. They might be Clarence Thomas or somebody. So that is ridiculous. It is ignorant, and it's and they only heard it from bought and paid for black folks.
Right. And at the end of the day, it is
Period.
your vote. Like you have a
It's
right
mine.
to do
Yes.
what you want to do with your vote.
And
It's mine.
they might be Uncle Ruckus too. I want to just add that one to the
See,
list.
it might be Ruckus too.
There might be some Uncle Ruckus. What's the second quote we working with?
Uncle
So
Roku.
you had it was just that one.
Say it again.
Yeah, 2 quotes or just that one?
Oh, this well, at sometimes this was the most educated black man ever. He is one of my most favorite people. He said, I shall not go to the polls. I believe that democracy has so far disappeared in the United States that no two evils exist. There is only but one evil party with 2 names, and it will be elected despite all I can do or say. That was brother W.E.B. Du Bois.
W.E.B. Du Bois.
My uncle's name E.B. But anyway, so W.E. Du Bois, if they want to say it that way.
Du
So
Bois, all right.
we got a lot of
Yeah.
respect for that brother, a lot of respect for both of these 2 brothers. So I wanted to say this, and I told you this before we started. There's a lie in our community about our history that our ancestors died for us to go vote. You owe it to your ancestors to go vote. No, you owe it to your ancestors to be engaged in the process and to know what the hell you're talking about as to why or why not you're using that right. Okay.
Right.
This man just said in 1956 that there are only 2 evils, not the lesser of 2 evils like they've been telling us.
Yeah.
And he's the same. There's no longer 2 evils. There's 1 evil, and it's going to get elected anyway. And I think that's just what happened to us. And this is not an anti-democratic campaign. Stands from me. I don't like the Democrats. I can't stand them, just like Cousin Malcolm X, because they fool our people the most. That's the only reason why I have an extra angst with the Democratic Party. But all I'm saying is, you can't tell me that what happened under Biden. Did the right to an abortion get taken away? Now it did happen. I know Trump put him in office, but we had a Republican president before it didn't happen. We had Democratic president report. And again, back to, I don't mean to go on too long, but back to Obama, you had a bulletproof Congress, and you was able to pass health care. You could have codified Roe versus Wade then. See, we gave you, in my lifetime, we gave you the power to give us everything we wanted and everything we needed, and you didn't do a damn thing with it. And I'm gonna hold you accountable for it for the rest of my life.
Okay, so let me ask you this. You brought this up with the Democratic. You had the issues with the Democrats. So we talked about this before the show too, how people align themselves with a certain party. And I was always taught at an early age to not do that, simply because you need to vote on the issues, right?
Correct.
Because every issue is not going to align with that party. But we also have people in 2023 that go vote and that go into the voting booth and will tick the little box that says all Democrats. They don't even look and see who's on the panel. On the ballot, they just click the little button and vote for all Democrats and submit their vote and walk away because they've been taught that the Democratic Party is aligned with black people. So can you talk about that for a minute, Ernest?
Yeah, I got an example for that. A few of them actually. We just read Malcolm X. Malcolm X said we won't organize a black man to be a Democrat or a Republican. I believe that it is incumbent upon the black community to stay neutral in voting. We don't belong to either one of y'all. Our vote is not a rubber stamp. Our ancestors' blood is not automatically given to either one of you. You got to come into my community and earn my vote. Okay. And if you don't come into my community and earn my vote and say and do the things that I need you to do, then that other party might get a vote if they're doing or saying what I need them to say. Okay. Every other community, the Hispanic, they always say the black or brown, right? Voter suppression hurts black or brown people. They always say that, right? It hurts the black people as well as the Hispanic community, right? So why is it that Hispanics vote 20-30% for the Republican Party and nobody holds them accountable? Nobody trashes their race for voting the other way. But yet, black men vote 92% for a Democrat, and you mad at the other 8% that voted for a Republican. We're race traders if we don't follow one God and one party. And don't say it's because they're writing oppressive laws, because all the oppressive laws in my lifetime has been written by the man sitting in the White House right now. So there's never been, I'm 43 years old, and I challenge anybody can get on their Google. In 47 years, you can't name a senator, Republican or Democrat, Bush or not Bush, Hatch or not Hatch, Klan or not Klan, in the last 50 years that's been more oppressive with legislation than Joseph Robinette Biden. You cannot.
That man.
But I voted.
He put that brother's middle name. He put that whole name in there.
Play no games.
Oh, I've been doing this since 19. My dad, I ran away in 1998. I ran away from home. I was 9 years old. Instead of getting that country whooping I knew I was gonna get, my daddy made me sit and watch Michael Dukakis.
Wow.
And I've been hooked on it ever since.
Yeah, that's different, because in '88, that's when I was swindling Benji out of his card. So you know what I'm saying. we was doing different stuff back then. You know what I'm saying.
I might just start learning how to walk.
Hey man, in '88, it was so much chaos going on for me. I wasn't even thinking about no voting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was just watching, man. I was waiting on my turn. Yeah. I worked when we was at Paul Quinn when I was in college.
I was hiding in the bathroom trying to get away from the whooping, while my brother and cousins got a whooping. You know what I'm saying? I because we snuck out. You know what I'm saying? So I got home and I stayed up in the bathroom till my mama came. You get what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying? But hey, I understand.
You tired of whooping by the time you came out, huh?
Yeah.
It was like, man, you have stayed in there for about 10 hours. Like, get up out of there. No, you ain't hitting me with no bell.
All right, so let me hit some more of these comments right quick. They're coming in, and there's some great comments. Okay, El Chancho says, and this is good. This is good, right? You can get this pulled up. All right, so if you don't vote, think about joining an organization. That's good. There's the Black Alliance for Peace, Community Movement Builders, Black Men Build, PSL, plenty of others. And even if you're not Black, there's other organizations you can join in your respective communities that could, assist, for the movement of whatever you're voting for, right? But there's always another option, right? So if you're not going to vote, at least be active in some way or some form in helping to improve your community. Right, voting is only one tool and one way that we can actually voice, voice our opinions and maybe move the needle. But there are other ways that you can actually do that as well. And doing things in your community and being active in these organizations and programs to help are tremendous ways, and actually probably going to be more effective in a lot of ways than your actual vote. So that's a very good point. So people, you have no excuse. If you don't want to vote, okay, so you don't want to vote, that's fine, but be involved in your actual community and be able to help change some things at that level, because that's actually the most important level. Because we know the things at the highest level, they have some channels to go through, and some of those channels get tricky and things get finagled in the mix. We understand that, but at your local level, there is a lot more things that you can affect change on with your actions other than just voting. So, that's a good point. We appreciate that, El Chancho. Love Christy,
Lord have mercy.
one of our viewers, she's always popping with some interesting points. She also has expressed that she has never voted and never even been concerned about it. And she also added that for years she thought Bill Blinton first name was George. So she has said in the past that she has a gang affiliation, so she doesn't use the C, so she says Bill Blinton. So
that means you love Christy. You ain't love Christy.
Well, I mean,
Get
her.
Well, hey,
Get her.
well, hey,
Get her, Trisha.
I better see Love Brisky by next week.
well, hey,
tonight.
But that's kind of what we talked about earlier, where we were talking about,
Yeah.
some people just don't know. They just don't know or not concerned about the candidates, and they hear the names and it doesn't move anything for them. So because they feel like it doesn't affect them directly, that they just don't even worry about it. So again, that's why we're giving you options for, if you don't feel like the voting is your thing and it doesn't affect you in any way, find other ways to get active in your community in order to make improvements, because whether you have kids or not, these laws, the way things are set up in your community, the way things occur around you are going to affect you at some point or another, right?
Yeah.
So you might as well get involved. All right. So, we also have Deshaun Coleman. Deshaun Coleman said he would rather vote third party if he ever vote, to be honest, which, Ernest expressed earlier that's a viable option, right? If you're going to vote for somebody who you really feel like is speaking your language, who's talking about the things that are important for you. So if that's a third party, cast your vote for that person. Even if you know that they're going to take an L, you still vote for that person because that person is representative of you, right?
I also like the idea, Ken, of making sure you check your local officials. I think before we came on the show, there was some concerns about some people that were put in office, judges, things of that nature, before we came on the show, right?
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about. I mentioned a little bit earlier on the air that we do have people who who don't vote for the president, maybe, but if you're going to be picking and choosing when to vote and who to vote for, make sure you pay attention to your local elections, if anything, because those things affect you directly, right? When you're voting for the judges, again, like I said, if you have to go to court for anything, you might be standing in front of the very judge that you did or did not vote for. So it means a lot, because, or your child, we hope and pray that none of you ever experience things where your children have to go to court for anything. And especially you guys out there who have to go to, court for paternity, things of that nature, that matters too. So
say that.
Hey. Go ahead, Ken.
No, go ahead.
Oh, because I was telling you about this. So I'm gonna say her name. There's a judge named Mary Garcia. I'm sorry. There's a judge named Mary Brown. Mary Brown is a Superior Court family court judge, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Mary Brown, y'all brothers, she's not for us. So we need to keep on. But the sisters up under her, they fair and balanced. These are black women. They fair and balanced. They love the black community, and they are brothers are walking in there with a fair shot. Sisters walking there. Even my kid's mom. We went before one of them. We just had a disagreement. We said we're gonna let the judge decide. The sister was fair, but there's another one named. She's not there no more. Judge Garcia. Judge Garcia had me put something together at Paul Quinn College for her to get elected. And when I came before her court, this lady acted out. She didn't even know who I was. You know what I'm saying? And treated me just like the brother before. And our cases was completely different. So, but what I'm telling you guys is, local is important. At least know what's going on locally. If they're not talking what you need to talk, hey, don't bother with them. But at least take a look and see who's going to be representing me in Austin, who's going to be representing me in the city on the city council, who's going to, even for school board elections are, to me, the most important election there is to me locally is a school board election, especially when you have children. We need to pay more attention and do a better job.
What would you say is the percentage of our folks that actually show up to school board elections?
Oh, I think the percentage of our folks that vote is very low anyway. So it's about as low as the rest. But don't forget, our folks are getting elected. Let me say this one thing. I think we can just clear up a lot of things with this one thing. I just want to say this to people who community organized, registered voters, and just really politically inclined and active like me, right? It is our job as folks who do stuff in the community, who get involved in elections, to go get the Pookies and Ray Rays and make them understand, hey, if you vote for Judge so and so, he giving time like this, or you tell that mother that, hey, this particular person on the city council, you got that son is in trouble, he need a little bit of help. This particular person running for city council that go to my church, I'm gonna bring him around here. I'm gonna send you information. Here's a video of what he said, that he gonna get help for your son. He gonna pay more attention. Stop treating him like a criminal. So I think it's incumbent upon us to make it all relative, right?
Right.
This is coming to us to get out in the community and push our folks. The best thing we can ever do as Black folks is stop rubber stamping our vote and get candidates in there we care about.
I agree.
That's facts. Okay, so let's get a couple more of these comments, because they getting interesting. All right, Sean Coleman says he really hates the lesser of the two evils argument, and that's what Ernest kind of addressed earlier, where he was saying basically there ain't no lesser of the two evils; they both evil. So so people have to understand that, and that's where in some cases that third party vote comes in. Because if there is somebody else out there other than the two candidates that they're being placed before you, which is, most of the time the Democrat and the Republican, if you don't like either of those, pick somebody else.
Right. If you vetted enough and you don't like what they said, I mean, go with what best fits you. You get what I'm saying? What you think is right.
Just on a historical context, y'all remember when Ross Perot ran an election with Bill Clinton and Bob Dole?
Yeah.
They called Ross Perot a spoiler.
I lived in Texas around that time.
Yeah, so they called Ross Perot a spoiler because Bob Dole lost, and they felt like it took some Republican votes, right? What happened was, and during the next election, so after Clinton got out of office, who won? A Republican, right? His name is George Bush, right?
Right.
Yep.
So Bush was to ran on compassionate conservatism, right? So what he was able to do was learn a lesson what the Republican Party has done, and they keep doing is they pivot. They pivot to what their voters want. Remember the Tea Party? Remember the Tea Party made them act right?
Yep.
And see what the MAGA Republicans just did in Congress? They acted a fool, and they getting what they want. So they forcing their party to pivot. So what they did with Ross Perot, he took votes away from Bob Dole. Next time Republican was up and a serious candidate for president, he pivoted to more Ross Perot voters. He was able to siphon off those third voters. So they acted right and went and got those votes that Ross Perot take. So voting for third parties, Marianne Williamson right now is winning for me because she's talking about reparations, and I don't even care about reparations as much as everybody else, but she's talking about healthcare the way I want to talk about, education the way I want her to talk about it, criminal justice reform the way I want her to talk about it. She's just an issue for me. So next time, maybe they'll come in and try to get my vote. They'll talk about the right stuff because I voted third party.
Okay. And I think again, that's part of the key, paying attention. And I think a lot of people don't pay attention because they feel like they have so many other things going on in their lives that they don't have the time or the ability to lock in, and see what people are actually talking about, to watch these debates, to actually do their Googles. You Google everything else, Google some information that might help you be able to vote more intelligently. You know what I'm saying? Because everything you do as far as the vote should be strategic, right? You just shouldn't be going on voting because you see a person's name on there. Because trust me, here in Dallas, there was a lady whose name appeared to be Black. Let's just go ahead and keep it 100. Her name was viewed by many as a Black person, and I remember distinctly posting her name on my Facebook page after the voting was done and asked how many people voted for this person. A lot of people voted for this person, and then I put her picture in the comments, and they were in awe. They were like, wait a minute, she's not Black? No. So you just went in there blind and voted for people because you thought you knew names. You thought you could tell by the name who it was and who you've heard of before. Again, and you fell for the trick, and you went in there and voted for this lady, and did she work out for you? No. So,
Right.
so again,
So like it brings back that point again about vetting, like taking the time, like take the time before these things come up to listen to these people, like Ernest was saying. Listen to them speak, listen to them talk, follow them from a year or 2 years, you get what I'm saying, previous to them being in there, so that you know what's going on. And I think overall that would help us significantly. Yeah, watch some of these debates, man. Like watch them. Like they have them on your local station. Your city council should be running a lot of those talks and those conversations. It happens here in California. You can watch it on the local channels. So watch those things, man. I think they'll be greatly beneficial for you. You won't be schooled
And
or made to look crazy.
it can also inform. Yeah, you won't be made to look crazy, and it would inform you, and it can tell you what's coming down the pipe. Nikki Haley is number 2 for the nomination for the Republicans. Right, 8 years ago, I told everybody watch out for Nikki Haley. She's on her way. She's on her way, and I knew she was going to get a cabinet position. Like if she don't win, she's going to get another. She may get another cabinet position again. So even with Vivek Ramaswamy, he was talking crazy to her. That's gonna appeal to a certain base. He's gonna get a cabinet position. He's gonna be a talking voice. But let me ask y'all something. We black here, most of us. What happened to Stacey Abrams right now?
Yeah, you know what? She kind of faded into black.
Hold on. Let me hold on. Watch this. That we got that sister that's from Dallas, Jasmine Crockett.
Yeah, Jasmine Crockett. Yeah.
Where's she been? She out now. She on TV now.
Yeah.
Where's she been? When election over, we won't hear from her no more. What happened to the brother Castro, the Hispanic brother from San Antonio that had the twin brother that was out there? We thought he was going to be a running mate for Hillary Clinton. Where is he? He's still in Congress. Where's Elizabeth Warren? You see what I'm saying? Now they're gonna use certain voices to push certain agendas. Then you won't hear from them no more. But I'm tired of that being our people. Hakeem Jeffries, Hakeem Jeffries, brother, I love you. What happened to Beto? Where's Beto at? Beto lost. He did lose. He did lose. But what happened to him?
He just kind of faded to the back.
Right. So what they do is they gin you up and they get people they know you're gonna like. They don't back them. They don't back them the right way with enough money. They don't back. For example, I'm gonna give you an example. I'm just telling you one reason why I disagree with Democratic leadership. And I want y'all to pay attention. We all know who Stacey Abrams is, right? We live in Texas, right? Well, you live in California, brother. Most of us live in Texas, right? Yeah. We live in other states besides Georgia. She was running for the governor of Georgia, right? How does that affect our Black lives? What vote can she cast to help non-Georgians? Not one. Meanwhile, Gary Chambers was running in Louisiana, and he couldn't get on a national show. But the Democratic Party was sending her on all. Obama was going to campaign for her when you needed to be, and you should have been campaigning for people who can cast a vote in Washington.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So they get certain people, put them out in front, but they don't want the help. And for women in particular, I'm gonna be quiet after this one. There's women went and voted blue, no matter who, voted for a Democrat that was against abortion and didn't know he was against abortion till after he was elected, because Nancy Pelosi wanted to boost that candidate instead of a progressive candidate. You want to look at, we got Sister Presley. I'm gonna name some people. Sister Presley. You got Sister Cori Bush. You got AOC. You got 22 Democrats just voted to censure Rashida Tlaib, right? So is that, and then one of them that voted to censor her was the old president of the Democratic National Committee. So where's Donna Brazile at? She was the first black woman to hold national office for the Democratic National Party, the DNC. She should be She should be up here. Where is she? I wrote something a long time ago and I got it and I put it on Facebook every couple of years. I said Kamala, before all this happened, I said Democratic women gonna be the first people to turn against Kamala. They propped her up. They propped her up before she decided to run, and they're gonna be the first ones to turn on her. Democratic white women. That's exactly what happened. So don't let them use you, baby. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, I dig that.
Yep. And in the comments, we had something that, you know, I've always been taught as well. So I'm just going to read his comment. All right. Sean Coleman said, and just because the politician may be black doesn't mean they're fighting for you. All skin folk ain't kin folk.
That's right, Deshaun.
I've always been taught that everybody that's your color ain't your kind, and everybody that's your kind is not your color. So, you know, you have to start. I learned this in my adulthood. You have to start looking at people for who they are, not what they are.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, you have to, again, that requires you to pay attention. That requires you to do some research. That requires you to spend a little time doing something that could benefit you and your children and the people around you if you just take a little bit of time to pay attention to these things. People, we're not asking you to take a deep dive into everything. And some people will take a deep dive. Some people will start Googling things and find themselves down a rabbit hole of information that could be very beneficial to them and actually change their trajectory as far as it goes with politics, right? They might actually delve into politics because of them, you know, trying to find different pieces of information to help them become a better voter, and it transforms them into something totally different, right? And that's often what happens a lot of times when we are searching for information, right? And in that search for information, we gain this wealth of knowledge about the situation or about whatever we're searching for, and the next thing we know, boom, we become an expert on it.
Right.
So don't be afraid to pursue that information, to go down that rabbit hole, because y'all go down a rabbit hole on Pornhub all the time. So go down the rabbit hole.
They go down all kind of rabbit holes.
That's the fact. Don't tell me you don't have time.
They down all the wrong holes except the right one.
Guilty.
Oh man.
Don't tell me you don't have time out here. You know what I'm saying? You got plenty of time.
Yeah, y'all be on page 326. So you know what I'm saying? You can have time to Google some things.
326. They don't went deep into the catalog.
They are thoroughly invested.
Hey man, hey, you know, sometimes you gotta find the quality product. So you know, but hey, you know, sometimes you just have to do what you're willing to do in order to gain that knowledge, in order to find what you need and what you're looking for. So put that energy into something that could not only change your life, but could change the life of the people around you, your kids, your family, so on and so forth. So before we close out, I want to ask a different question. And I saw this. This is just something that I ran across, and I want to ask Ernest this. What do you think about this? Has been posed before a couple of times, and I mean, it hadn't made any movement, but shouldn't voting be mandatory?
No.
Okay. I just want to ask. I just wanted to ask because I saw that pop up on a couple of things when I was doing my Googles and my searches. It popped up maybe 3 or 4 different times. I'm like, I've never heard of mandatory voting, but you know, I guess it was because, from what I was reading, it was because of, you know, not enough people voting per se. When you have
there's enough people to vote for somebody to win and somebody to lose.
Yeah, but you know, it's that thing of, you know, when you see the election and you see them posting the votes and the number of votes, and then you start to do your calculations and you like, it's this many people in the United States. Why is it only this many people voting? Which is you know, as far as the amount of people in the United States, and then you look at the number of people that actually voted, it's a small number, you know what I'm saying, versus the amount of people here.
I'm gonna tell you the political correct reason, then I'm gonna tell you the black reason.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. The politically correct reason is it's everybody's right to use or not use their power. Like I said, me giving you power. The better example is me giving you a promotion and me telling you that you're gonna have to wait till next year. It's going to make you either quit or make you act the way I want you to act to get this promotion, right? So, but I still have that power. But if I'm giving you a promotion every year, no matter what you do, then I'm losing my power, right? So, but this the black reason. We only 13% of the population, y'all. Why would we want everybody to vote? We would lose every time when we're dealing with us.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? When it's our issue, we're going to depend on somebody else to get on our bandwagon behind closed doors. They're going to tell us, they can tell us they with us, but behind closed doors, the women know that because all of a sudden, women, Trump keep winning. The other side keep winning women. When a woman was running, they won women. So it is crazy for us to, one, get rid of the electoral college, and two, advocate for the popular vote, and three, make it mandatory voting. That's going to hurt the black community. And you see, that's pushed from the left side. Remember I told you they be agents of white supremacy? Just think about it. I know that's been pushed in our circle, in black circles. Oh, the electoral college is stupid, baby. If we didn't have it, we would never get what we want. We can say we want to say he won the popular vote because everybody didn't vote. He won the popular vote of those who got up, motivated us to vote. Now, if everybody voted, you know how they really feel behind closed doors. Certain people really feel. If everybody voted, Obama wouldn't have won, y'all. So he motivated enough for us to go. I stayed at the post. I worked the post for 14 hours when Obama got elected, and an old lady was scooting along the floor. We had to scoot her every little so often, move her chair. She had a little walk, and we had to scoot her so her to get her spot in line. She stayed there for 6 hours. So that would have never happened if we had everybody mandatory voting. We are the minority in this country, and we're the minority by far.
Okay. See, that's why I wanted to ask those questions, because I know Brother Ernest was gonna have some great feedback for us, and that's a great point, and that's a great way to kind of round out the episode, because I mean he put some things in perspective for us, man, and I mean, I wasn't expecting that answer, but I'm glad that he answered it the way he answered it and put that information out there and that perspective out there, because I think a lot of people need to hear that, and a lot of people need to understand that sentiment. So, you know what I'm saying? Appreciate that feedback, Brother Ernest.
No problem.
All right. So, y'all, as usual, we've given you some tools, we've given you some jewels, we've given you some information, we've given you some entertainment. But it's time for us to roll out. It's time for us to wrap up this episode. So we appreciate you all tuning in. Brother Ernest will return. He will be back. We're not going to be talking about voting all the time. Brother Ernest is very interesting, y'all. I promise you. So he will be he will be back. And I promise you, you don't want to miss.
He voting for them right laws for sure in his favor. Yes, sir.
You don't want to be missing for his return.
Fact.
Yes.
Fact. So the best way to do that is to watch every episode, and that way you won't miss anything. And if you're following our channels and our pages, you won't miss anything. So make sure you do that. So before we get up out of here, we give everybody an opportunity to say something, to give some closing comments, and we'll go ahead and start with our guest, Ernest Drone. Talk to us a minute. Give the people some jewels before you go, and let them know how to reach you on social media, because there might be some people who want to reach out.
I don't got a big social media. I'm Ernest Drone on Facebook. It's me and my son. You'll be able to tell me. You'll be able to tell him. I'm big. He's skinny. So, but I'm just on the episode. I just want to close everybody with this: your vote belongs to you. Don't let no step and fetch it. Yes, a boss politician come tell you that you got to go do anything their way. Don't let nobody shame you, whether you're a woman or a black person. If you believe that somebody's committing genocide and supporting genocide, and you're not going to vote for them, don't let nobody scare you. Project 2025. Don't let nobody tell you anything. You do what you educate yourself, and then make your own decision. Okay, that's what we're here for. That's what our ancestors survived. Sacrificed for. Okay, that's it.
All right. Yeah, I'm telling y'all, hey, he's saying he doesn't have a big social media following, but If you want to reach out to him, hit him up, hit his inbox. You know what I'm saying? He's a very interesting guy. He loves conversation, and he
I
also
do.
loves debate. He's probably one of the greatest debaters that I've ever come across in my life. And I also always tell people he lives by a mantra that, I think a lot of people I run into really agree with now is I might be wrong, but you're gonna have to prove me. You're gonna have to prove it to me. So shout out to Ernest Jones. We appreciate you joining us today. Trish Michelle, talk to the people before we get up out of here.
Oh man, more than anything, all I can say is that Ernest just reminds you of the statement, knowledge is power. So, utilize that, go research, go learn, go figure it out. Don't just sit back and say, I don't know nothing. And just at the same time, your vote is your power. So at the same time, don't let nobody else tell you what to do with it. So, because a lot of people do. And some people go to their circle and what y'all voting? Okay, that's what I'm voting. No, really figure out what you believe in. And it don't have to be what everybody in your circle is believing in. It's what you believe in. So
Yep.
I appreciate Ernest dropping those dimes for us today. Where you can find me at is on Instagram, Trisha Michelle _YT. Everywhere else, YouTube, TikTok, Trisha Michelle as well. And then, of course, the Fiyah Session. Y'all know where to find me here if y'all want to find me every Tuesday.
Big facts. Y'all go follow her sites. IG and backtrack like Big Ken did and go to her YouTube and go down
Your
those
content.
videos. We're advocating for her to get everything restarted, and we believe that she is, but her YouTube is very interesting, and will give you another insight of who she is and her personality and everything. So go support her YouTube channel as well, like and subscribe that as well. Thank you very much. Benji Banks, Blank Man, talk to the
What's
people.
going on? We blank man in this joint. You get what I'm saying? But we straight. We in there. We still in there like swimwear. So we all right. Man, listen. I think there was a whole bunch that was said, but I think the thing that keeps sticking with me, aside from just voting, is vetting. Check on these people again, man. Look up your people. Uh, whether it be on the national level, local level, whatever it is. Look them up. They got YouTube pages. They got a Facebook page and an Instagram as well. If you're trying to do it quick and fast, you get what I'm saying, or whatever. But check these people out. Listen to what they say a little bit. I know throughout your day, you know what I'm saying, you might be super busy and a lot of things going on, but like I said, Ken, some of y'all on page 326 on the hub. So you know what I'm saying, you got some kind of time somewhere. Take 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you know what I'm saying, to kind of look up and check your candidate out, you know what I'm saying, or the potential candidate, and see what's going on with them. They might be saying something that's interesting to you, and then again, they might not be saying something that's interesting to you. But either way, you'll feel like you put in your vote in the proper hands, you know what I'm saying? Instead of just, saying, I'm not going to do anything, which is your right. You can do that as well. But overall, we need to do some of these things for our little ones, man, our babies coming up. So we got some work to do, and we got some learning to do and some understanding to get. And all you're get an understanding. So at the end of the day, that's most important. Find your boy on Instagram at BRB4701. Can't miss me on Facebook. I mean, my name, logo, all of that. We there. So, and go check the link in the bio. We got some new wines, some Thanksgiving wines, and some stuff that's pulling up on y'all for Thanksgiving. So get your orders in, check the gift shop out, and holla at your boy.
All right. Yeah, y'all definitely go check it out because y'all know y'all some of y'all can't cook. So if you're going to these family functions, at least you can show up with a nice bottle of wine. And
Yes,
Benji can help you out with that. You know what I'm
and
saying?
not
So
that store bought stuff. Our stuff is legit. Ain't that right, Patricia?
No, yeah, that's right. I like my Shiraz. I like
Yeah.
that's my favorite. But yeah, that wine is legit. No, like this ain't no promo. Like being told, like this is for real. Like I drink it and I like it. It's good. It's tasty, and it definitely pairs well with a lot of different things. And for real, if you can't cook, stay your behind out that kitchen and bring that bottle, please.
Yes,
Right, too.
and you can etch your own bottle in my store now. You get what I'm saying? You can you can tell grandma, I love you, girl, for this mac and cheese that you about to cook. And you can do it legitly. You get what I'm saying? You can put it on the bottle. You know
Give thanks.
Facts. All right. Well, I guess it's my turn. People, we appreciate you tuning in. Y'all already know how Big King gets down. I'm silly most of the time. I like to have fun. I like to crack jokes, but on a serious note, I hear people say all the time, their body, their choice, your vote, your choice. Right? Utilize your vote. Make sure you leverage it for the best that you can. And also, as was mentioned earlier in the show, if you're not going to vote, at least find a way to be involved in your local community so you can do some good for somebody else outside of just yourself, right? Because we all owe it to the kids, if nothing else, around us to make sure that we make the place better for the next generation. Y'all already know y'all can find me at Big Ken's Comedy on IG, Big Ken's Comedy on Twitter, Big Ken's Comedy on Facebook. Y'all can catch me on the Fiyah Session as usual. Y'all can hit us up at FIYAH Session on all social media platforms. As the chain says, the FIYAH, baby. The Fiyah.
I think you can bring it.
Yeah. So you can hit up the FIYAH Session on all social media platforms. Type that in. We'll pop right up. You go on YouTube, like and subscribe. Make sure you like and subscribe. We appreciate you stopping by. We appreciate you kicking it with us. But we need you to go ahead and like and subscribe so we can keep growing and keep showing people how it's done. Because we're not just here for the entertainment piece. We're here for the education piece as well. As we always say, we like to put the medicine in the candy. We're going to give you something to, to entertain you, but we also want you to, take something with you as you go back out into the world each and every week that we have a live episode. And we do it live so we can have the people in the comments as well. So we appreciate the people who tuned in and the people who commented, because you helped us keep the conversation going and you helped us ask, questions of Ernest that maybe we wouldn't have thought about, or maybe things that we wouldn't have, seen a certain way. So we appreciate you all's input and your outlook on things because we value it the most. All right. So we appreciate y'all tuning in. Y'all tune in each and every week. Support us, show us love, and come and join the conversation with us because y'all already know we're going to keep it hot. It's the Fiyah Session. Peace. Thank you for joining us today. Please follow us on all social media platforms. Just search Fiyah Session.